Hey guys, and welcome to week 4 of the season 3 of the GPC. This week I'm facing Conor, coach of the Manchester Meganiums, as you can see on your screen. Before we get into my team and the team matchup against his, I should go over the changes that happened. After 3 weeks in our league, you can do some trades, up to 3 pickups, and you can drop as many as you want so long as you have 8 Pokemon in the end. I switched things up a bit. I wanted to, if you saw my last video, you saw that I was very disappointed with the lack of speed that Electros has, and so I wanted a fast Volt Switcher, so I dropped Electros to pick up Heliolisk. The point difference was such that I had to drop something else as well, so I ended up picking up Braviary for Staraptor, which I think is a decent switch up because it does the offensive role the same and it's slightly bulkier, so I've got more options to go with this. And Heliolisk is the fast Volt Switcher that I was after too, so I'm glad about that. Also, this switch up allowed me to have 3 extra points, which I invested into Basculin. Now this isn't a conventional pick, you could say, it's only a PU mon, but I feel like it's one of those mons that can pull its weight in this format. And if you look at the team matchup here, it's going to come in useful this game, and I did bring it. So Conor's team is composed of Mega Gardevoir, Mamoswine, Reuniclus, Tornadus T, Blastoise, Bisharp, Talonflame, Dragalge, Electabuzz, and Meganium. Meganium is just Conor's sort of, it's not really a joke pick, but I doubt he's going to bring it, so I wasn't at all expecting it. I had Chandelure anyway this game, so I wasn't scared of it at all. Electabuzz, I wasn't too afraid of it, but I prepped for it nonetheless. Dragalge had many ways to take it down. Talonflame was scary, as all birds are to my team. We've had this discussion before. So Tornadus T was scary as well, of course. Bisharp can be an issue, but I've got Mega Scissor, and I engineered a set to deal with it. Reuniclus, not too much of a problem. Mega Gardevoir I can deal with Chandelure okay, and even Mega Scissor, of course, with the priority Bullet Punch. Once again, this wasn't a win to bring Hydreigon. I should have brought him last week. I believe I said that last week as well. So my first pick has yet to make an appearance, but it will do. Don't worry, it's not going to be a sleeper pick. It will turn up after a while, and it will turn up in the game as well. Probably go 6-0. I mean, I'm facing Rufus in week 5, so I will go 6-0. What I expected him to bring. I expected him to bring Mega Gardevoir and Mamoswine, Tornadus T, Bisharp, Dragalge, and Electabuzz. I felt that was the most balanced team he could bring. It was a very strong team, and it's a very scary team to face. So I built accordingly. I brought Mega Scissor, of course, to deal with Mamoswine. It's the best thing I can do for it. Chandelure for Mega Gardevoir. I had a bulkier set to live Psyshock and Hyper Voice, and enough damage to seal on the Shadow Ball to seal the deal with a Bullet Punch from Mega Scissor. I brought Heliolisk for the fast Volt Switch because he's got 2 birds, of course. 2 potential birds. I brought Mesprit with a specific set, which I'll show in a bit, to deal with Bisharp. I had Basculin because it does a lot to his team. And I also had, what was the last thing, Terrakion. Just as a late game sweep cleaner like I did before against Omega. I think my team matchup against him is okay, as long as I get past Tornadus T or Talonflame, depending on which one he brings. And if I do that, then I should be able to clench a victory. It will be difficult to do so if I can't take those 2 down. So, after all this rambling, I will now show you the team that I built for this week. So this is the team builder. I brought all the mons that I mentioned beforehand, and I'll go over which sets I brought and why. My first mon, of course, as I do every week, is Mega Scissor. It's possibly the best mon on my team. It's just so useful. The spread that I brought was specifically to take 2 Earthquakes from Abandoned or Life Orb, Adamant Life Orb, Mamoswine. Enough attack investment to do, I think it was to 2-hit KO a fully defensive Mega Gardevoir. I don't see why you bring it, but you know, just in case. Bullet Punch, U-turn, Roost and Defog. Roost because I need longevity, U-turn for momentum switch up, of course, as you know I love it. Defog is useful because I don't have Tentacle for the first time this season, so I needed a way to get rid of hazards, and Scissor was going to be my way to do so. 24 on speed in case you try to speed creep me with something, and I believe it dies with base 80s, if I remember right, the speed investment. I can't remember exactly. Don't quote me on that. I don't think that's enough. I think it was just to avoid being speed crept. Yeah, this thing is going to come in very useful to deal with Mamoswine and to do a lot of damage to quite a few of his mons. So yeah, Mega Scissor, and plus it was a lot of his team. Then we have Chandelure, a bulkier set, as I said before. This is to take a Hyper Voice Side Shot combo. Enough special attack investment to do, I think it was, I can't remember the exact, I think it's to do, it's enough to 2-hit KO, an Assault Vest, Tornadus T after a rock switching with Fire Blast, if I remember right. I think that's the special attack investment. 12 in speed to outspeed in case he brought a defense or max HP Mamoswine. Will-O-Wisp, Taunt, Shadow Ball and Fire Blast. It's just a more supportive set this week. I felt like this could maybe take him by surprise, and so I didn't bring the normal offensive set. First of the sweepers, we have Basculin. Yes, I brought Basculin. Waterfall and Aquajet as the double water coverage because it hits a lot of his team. Zen Headbutt specifically for Dragalge, and Double Edge just to get a big hit off on anything that would want to take these hits. There's nothing that would. But I don't know, in case I had to avoid, say he had a berry of some sorts, in case I wanted to just predict that and avoid it, I'd go for a Double Edge. Mystic Water to sort of hide the potential choice. So I could go for Waterfall, him switch into something that's faster, and then go for an Aquajet to sort of take it by surprise. Enough speed to outspeed Jolly something, Mamoswine, and the rest in attack, and some in HP and special defense to take just hits better, basically. Yeah, that's adaptability, of course, because it's the best thing to run on this, and that's Flash Fire in case you to sort of deal slightly better with Talonflame, and to just have a switch into any fire attack onto Scissor. And then we have once the return of Rock Polish to Terrakion. If I get a Rock Polish up on anything and I'm full HP, I sweep. It's as simple as that. I can take a Sucker Punch and a Brave Bird combo from what's it called, Bishop and Talonflame, providing that Talonflame isn't banded. I can take a banded Adamant Brave Bird from Talonflame with this coverage, with this spread, with the 24 on HP. This is to outspeed Jolly Mega Gardevoir, I think, or something along those lines. And this set basically sweeps his team. It's as simple as that. It's another one of those weeks where Terrakion puts in the work if I get up a Rock Polish. So that's why I brought it, and I think I brought Leftovers because I basically didn't know what item to run on it. I was initially considering, what's it called, a Rock Plate or Stone Plate. Plate 1. Where is it? Stone Plate, you can't see it on your screen, but it's that one there that I'm hovering over. I was considering that at first, but I decided against it for longevity's sake. I didn't want to put Life Orb on it to wear it down. I didn't want to put a Focus Sash on it because rocks are always a thing. So I put Leftovers on it, and that allowed me to take the Sucker Punch Brave Bird combo, as I said before. So that's why I brought Leftovers. Then we have Choice Scarf, a Heliolisk with Dry Skin, and I should have maybe brought Sand Veil just for the lols, but no. Dry Skin just to take a potential water attack from any of his mons, I don't know. Volt Switch for Momentum Switch Up, Hyper Voice and Thunderbolt for stab, and Grass Knot to hit Mamoswine. This set gets walled by Dragalge, but I could just always Volt Switch out if I'm predicting him to switch into it. Plus Hyper Voice is very good neutral coverage against most of his team. He doesn't have, I don't think he has a Steel type, I can't remember. He doesn't have a Steel type, I don't think. So that, yeah, this coverage hits a lot of his team. Enough speed to outspeed Jolly Electabuzz, max special attack, and the rest in HP. And this is my lead and the way I counter Bishop. I take the knockoff and Oko with HP fighting. That's all there is to it. Colberberry, with the Colberberry it does, I think it's 48% max, or no, 52% max. So I'm left with 48%. Thunder Wave, U-turn, Stealth Rock, and Hidden Power Fighting, which OHKOs with this special attack investment. The rest in SPDEF to take hits from potentially Reuniclus or even Mega Gardevoir, 12 in speed to avoid being to outspeed defensive base 80s like I did with Chandelure. And yeah, once again, not bringing any stab on this. This time I feel it's more justified. Last week I should have definitely brought it, but this time Psychic doesn't hit a lot of his team. So that's why I brought this set. Unlike last week, and similarly to my first 2 weeks, I feel very comfortable with the team that I brought. I feel it can do work. I feel it's not lacking per se. It's going to be a bit hard to deal with Tornadus T, but there are ways I can play around it, and I think if I play it correctly, I can probably take this game, as I said before, so long as I beat his 2 birds, if he brings them, whichever of the 2 he brings. So on that note, I guess I should lead you onto the battle. For once, the showdown replays are working, so be thankful for that. And yeah, I'll see you in a second. So here it is, Conor's team. As I said, I predicted basically everything, except for the fact that he would bring 2 birds. This is going to be an issue. My team doesn't take kindly to birds, especially not these 2 in particular with the fire coverage, so it's going to be a tough one to break down, but I feel like I can do it. As I said, Mesprit is my lead. I'm expecting him to lead Bisharp or Mamoswine, and I think Mesprit can deal well with both. And if he brings something else, like one of the 2 birds, I can take a hit and paralyze it, so that's why I'm leading Mesprit. And yeah, let's just hop into the battle. So first turn, he goes into Bisharp as I predicted, and I go out into Mesprit. He goes straight for the knockoff. I can take it with the Cobra Berry, of course. It does 45%. He gets min damage, essentially, just a bit over, which is unfortunate for him, but whatever. HP fighting, and I was so hype at this moment. I was like, yes, Bisharp is down. Great start to a battle, and he's Sash. I was kind of sad at this point, and I kind of predicted him to go for a Pursuit. Predicted me to switch out, predicting the knockoff, and go into Mega Scissor. And so I stay in and go for a T-Wave, and he gets up rocks. And at this point, once again, I'm fearing a Pursuit, because I feel like on a set like this, and against a Chandelure and a potential Mesprit, because Chandelure I had to bring, and a potential Mesprit, Pursuit is the only way to go. And so I go for a U-turn. Wait, yeah, I go for a U-turn, knowing that it'll kill him if he goes for Pursuit, and he ends up showing the Sucker Punch. Oh no, sorry. I set up rocks this turn, and this is where I misplay, that's right. Because he shows the Sucker Punch, he's not going to have 3 dark moves. I don't know why I was so paranoid about the Pursuit. And I go for a U-turn, and I end up losing my Mesprit for no reason. Which is really unfortunate, because that was my main counter to this. I just go straight into Mega Scissor, go for a Bullet Punch, safe play, but nothing really on his team was switching, especially not Talonflame with the rocks up. So that's that dealt with here. This is the biggest possible misplay I could have made. He is going to Heat Wave. He has to. But I'm thinking to myself, I have a Chandelure. He knows if this is paired up as one of my defensive mons, I've got to have a Flash Fire Chandelure. So I'm thinking, this turn I took forever to choose, and I honestly thought he'd predict me to switch out into Chandelure, and I'd get off a slow U-turn, go into this and kill it off. However, he doesn't. I over-predicted, and I lose my Sizzle.
Stupid deaths, they're funny 'cause they're true. Woo! Stupid deaths, hope next time it's not you.
I then send out Chandelure, and you're probably wondering why. Main reason why I brought this in was I wanted to scout the Scarf. I didn't want to bring Heliolisk straight in if he was Scarfed, because a Heat Wave would just kill with me being Dry Skin. And so I switched into this. As soon as I saw the Hurricane, or rather I should have switched out straight away into Heliolisk, but I don't, and I go for a safe Shadow Ball. It does a decent amount of damage, but that shows me that he's either somewhat SPDEF invested or max speed with Assault Vest, and no HP of course. and that's what it ends up being. And I just sack off Chandelure at this point. I didn't want to switch anything in on a Hurricane. And if you look, I'm already down to 3 offensive mons. All my defensive and supportive mons are gone, and so to switch this around, I need to play hyper offensively. Here, I predict him to go into Mamoswine or Dragalge. I wanted to go for the safer play, and I go straight for Grass Knot. In hindsight, I should have doubled out into Terrakion, gone for an offensive switch. If I did that, it could have been a more interesting outcome, or even Basculin, because I have a lot to hit all of his team. I wanted to be safe at this point. When you're down to 3 mons, you don't want to, and as I showed before, predicting is never a good idea. You don't want to over-predict, so I just go for the Hyper Voice. It does nothing to this as well. This is Assault Vest as well. I'm very, very upset about this. At this point, I don't want to switch anything out into Draco Meteor. This would have been useful, but nothing else wants to switch in, and I feel the other two do more damage to his team. And Hyper Voice, once again, it gets it down really low, and this dies. This is where it gets interesting. Here, I go into a Basculin, I can just take it out with a Waterfall. Crit did not matter. Even an Aqua Jet had a chance to kill. It had a very high chance to kill even. And here, if I was banded, and I had gone for Aqua Jet previously, I swept his team. It's as simple as that. He told me later that his Talonflame had no speed EVs, so I would have killed that. I believe Gardevoir has a chance to die, and even if it didn't, Terrakion outsped and could kill it, and then deal with Mamoswine if it wasn't scarfed. And yeah, at this point, I'm thinking to myself, Aqua Jet cannot kill from this range with Mystic Water. I have to go for a Waterfall. If he misses or gets the minimum possible roll, I can live, I can kill this, and I can just kill something else at the very least. And unfortunately for me, he hits the Hurricane, gets a crit. Crit doesn't matter. All he needed was not the lowest roll possible, and he killed me. He didn't get the lowest roll possible. He didn't miss. He missed no Hurricanes. I can't complain about hacks not, that kind of hacks not going my way. But it is kind of frustrating. Nonetheless, he goes for a superpower, gets off some damage, and there's no way he could kill me with anything there. I go for a Stone Edge, it just kills it, obviously. In hindsight, no, it wouldn't have mattered because of Talonbird. But I could have gone for a Rock Polish here and potentially swept his team. But no, with Talonbird, there's no way. He, of course, brings that thing out now. It would have been interesting if I was Sword Stance with Quick Attack. Now, that could have been... That probably would have swept his team in hindsight. Once again, the biggest misplay of this game was sacking off Scizor, or over-predicting, sorry, that he'd switch out into Chandelure. That just lost me all the momentum, and it sort of immediately threw the game in Conor's favour. He said that he didn't have Fire-type coverage on this. The only thing he had to hit Mega Scizor was Heat Wave on that. So if I did keep it around, I would have basically outlived all his team with Mega Scizor and killed everything. So it's very, very unfortunate that I over-predicted there. But once again, well played, Conor. You are now top of the league and well deserving of this spot. He beat Pierre last week, which is it's not a feat to ignore. It's not at all a feat to ignore. It's not an easy thing to do. He was undefeated until that point. Conor now takes top spot, as I said, and I'm now sitting at the bottom. After 2 weeks I was tied for second, and after 4 weeks I'm right at the bottom, all on my lonesome, which is unfortunate, but our division is extremely close. Conor is in first with 3-1 and I'm last with 1-3. Just because I am far at the bottom does not mean I'm out of this by any stretch of the imagination. I can pull this back, and hopefully I will pull this back. Next week I face Rufus, my rival, the one guy I want to beat, the one guy I have to beat, and I will not let myself lose in such a way. I'm not sort of looking for excuses and taking anything away from Conor. He played well all game. I basically misplayed that one time with Mega Scizor, and that threw the game in his favour. It's unfortunate that I did that, as I said before, but it happens. It's all a learning process, really. It's my first season here. I just want to take this as a lesson, not overpredict too much in the beginning of the game. It's alright if I lose a bit of momentum and not lose all of it, basically. It was a high risk, low reward play, and it wasn't the right one to make. So at least I didn't get 5-0'd again, at least I didn't play like absolute trash. It's a shame that Basculin couldn't sweep. That would have been so hype. If the PU monster that I brought ended up sweeping, that would have been incredible. Unfortunately that didn't happen, of course. Talonbird is so annoying with its priority Brave Birds, but what can you do? Thank you all for watching. Next week, as I said, I'll be facing Rufus, and I hope you... no, next week, sorry. It's not Rufus. It's the mid-season tournament, and I'm facing Sasha. I'll probably explain the rules on that video, because it's not very easy to understand. And actually, I've got a question that I want you all to answer in the comments, because as I was saying, it's a very close division. Do you think I can pull through and get 3 potential victories in a row, and get to 4-3, take 2nd or 3rd place, and if we win the mid-season tournament, make the playoffs potentially? Do you think that's a possibility, or do you think at this point I'm down and out with these 2 last losses, I'm demoralised or whatever, and cannot make it back? It'd be interesting to see what your guys' opinion on that is. So once again, on that note, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.